Alright, so,
Recording. Oh, that was you.
so just to recap, first we selected a scale, and the way we did that was we pictured our two blocks as if they were just one big object, and we selected a scale to where that one big block that holds both of our boxes would fit on the page without running over, but we wanted to make it as big as possible. And we landed on a scale of 1 to 5. So someone was just asking, do we start at the very bottom? The key is we want to leave room for the entire box, but at the same time we also need room for our title block. And so I'm going to go ahead and put in my title block. What all has to go in the title block?
The scale.
Okay, the person's your name, right?
Cool.
And then the title of the drawing, which in this case I'm going to call it just 2 boxes. And then what else is needed? Good, the scale. And we're in a 1 to 5 scale. And finally, today's date. There's my title block. Yeah. Alright, and so then I'm going to select the edge that is closest to me, or that looks closest to me, and I'm going to draw that to my scale, and this is where it gets tricky for me because the screen is not...
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm enough to see it.
My,
Pencil.
yeah, I warned you about pencil, right? Mine's not going to quite be exactly like yours, probably. Hopefully mine fits, but we'll see. So I'm going to draw that first edge. And by the way, if I just called it 2 boxes. If a line ends between 2 triangles on your graph page, if it's close enough, you can kind of eke it over to make it go to the line. If it's halfway in between, go ahead and try and keep it halfway in between. But there can be some rounding. We do have a tolerance level there. Alright, so that one's 12 inches high. And then I'm going to draw, from that point, I'm going to draw the edge that leads back, the bottom edge of the box, the bottom box. And it was 21 inches deep, right? So I'm going to take this one along that line. So that, see how, again, what we mentioned a while ago, it makes a 30-degree angle with the horizontal, which is characteristic of an isometric drawing. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do the back edge while I'm here, because I know that that dimension is also 12. And then if I did it correctly, I can connect the dots. And so now I've done one face of the bottom block. Now the width of the bottom block was what, 15 inches we said? So I can go ahead and do this edge. Oh, that didn't quite get where I wanted it. I want it down on that next line. Hold on one second.
That one's 15.
Right? 15 inches, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to use this scale with this pen on this surface. And then again, I can do the same thing down here. And then connect the dots to finish out the face.
How long was the second bottom edge?
The bottom box is 12 by 15 by 21. So it's 12 high, and then 15 in this dimension, and 21 in that dimension.
Oh no. 15. Uh-oh.
Right?
Yeah. Getting close.
Yeah. the top box or the bottom box?
That? That's the bottom.
Yeah, it's not happening.
No.
Or I don't think it's not happening. We'll see. Okay. So now, what we got to be careful when we add the top box is in an isometric drawing, we do not show hidden lines. That's going to be one of the differences you'll see in orthographic here in a little bit. Orthographic, we show faces that are hidden. In isometric, we don't. So always, like in this example, I'm going to start the top box before I finish the bottom box because I don't want to have to erase any. So the top box, bless you, is centered on the leading edge of the bottom box. And it's, what did I say, was it 12 wide? 10 wide. 10 wide, and so that means there's how much on each side? 2.5 inches. So I'm going to step in 2.5 inches. Which is, and again, I'm going to round, and I don't mind if you round if it's close. So in this case, 2.5 is right there, I believe, and there. Is that right? Looks right. And now I'm going to draw the vertical lines of that top box, which the height of the top box was 8. Is that right? So I'm going to do my 8 straight up. And finish that face. Now I can go back, which was 15 deep? No, 12. It's 12 deep. And then when I've done all those 3 lines that are 12 deep, I can then connect the dots to finish out that last face of the top box. Now you should be able to see now why I didn't finish out the bottom box first. Because if you look here, when I do this edge back here, a lot of it's going to be hidden. And so I didn't want to have to erase that line to make room for the top box. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of eyeball, start this edge, and I'm going to eyeball where it's going to end up on the back here. Just make a little mark so I know where I'm aiming for on this edge, and you can see actually, I don't make it out, do I? Ends up joining that line. Okay, good. It did fit. Yeah. And there we have it. There's an isometric drawing of these 2 boxes.
Boom. That's it. You're starting like right here? Yeah. Oh, it's because I did one, I did this,
What?
yeah, this is 15, but only one by five.
Alright, so now we're doing a slightly different arrangement.
That'll work.
We've rotated the bottom box to where now. And Brandon.
Just shooting it, dude. He's hunting, right?
Yeah. The dove.
But don't you practice by shooting steeple?
I think you do.
Yes, Mr. Doll explained this to me.
Oh.
You know, we should really ship it to him.
You know what we should do? Not sing.
Anytime. Anytime you want somebody to say something, Caleb's there for it. Okay.
Yeah, it's always you always breathe a sigh of relief when your edges connect.
What?
You know me, I'm actually singing the following.
Yeah, I know, but they know the other one.
I know, I didn't think it was an actual solo.
It's I want you to love me like I love my dog or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, I tell you, you got to sing One Direction. Oh yeah.
I know, still, actually singing. Yeah.
Alright, so this one's a little trickier, right? Because we got to put in we got a couple of different approaches we can take. We can work from the back edge of the top box, or we can locate the front edge and work back.
Let's just start at the back.
I'm leaning more towards starting at the back right edge and then working my way around to the front. So, because I know that the back right edge shares a point with the bottom box, right? Because they line up, and the point is right. Let me change colors so it shows up. The point is right there, right? That red dot is the intersection. It's the point that is shared by both the top and bottom box in the back edge. And so,
Yeah, there you go.
but it's hidden, right? So I got to come back. What's the width of the 8 inches, right? So I'm going to come back 8 inches from that point to start that
Right there.
the front edge of the change colors.
You're gonna come in.
And that's that.
So that's where I'm going to start that front edge of the box, and it's going
Wait,
to.
when you come in 10 inches?
On the other side.
From our, that's 10 inches. That would be 10 inches.
10 inches here.
Yeah,
Oh wait.
for us it would.
Oh shoot,
yeah,
you're
that would
right.
be 10 inches.
You are one smart cookie, my
Thanks,
brother.
man.
You're doing the opposite side I am? The opposite
I
edge?
don't think so.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay. I don't know if I am. I guess so.
You got it, bro.
So that one's 10. So then you go 8 inches. Correct?
Correcto mundo. This is 10 as well.
Okay. See how I did the bottom of the top box? Now I can extend. Oh yeah, because you're from the other edge. Yeah, you got a completely different perspective. And then I'm going to go up. What's the height of the little box? 12? 12. I'm going to go up my 12.
Why do I keep putting an extra half an inch in every plate?
How did that try? Me too, bro. Drop straight up.
Oops. That didn't quite line up like I wanted to. Try that again.
Now is this 10? Wait, what? No.
Sort of struggling to read.
Shut up.
Uh-oh.
That's 10. And then I need to go out more. 210, okay. Got
Sorry.
him.
I did cheat a little bit.
Oh no.
Hey, we don't cheat at PPA.
No, man.
Shut up, Luke.
That's Jack talking. I'm gonna have to report you.
Okay.
Talk about it.
Talk about it? Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Don't worry, you guys.
Oh, good. Jordan got it.
Good, I was worried.
I was so worried.
Oh no, mine totally doesn't fit. Oh, yes it does. Yes it does. The very top.
Alright, there's our second isometric. So now we're going to do an orthographic drawing of the same two boxes that we just did.
No orthographic.
So, orthographic, remember, has three different views.
Oh.
Alright, so now that we've gotten Jordan medical attention, let's finish. We're going to have three drawings and three views, and don't draw yet, but let me just give you a feel for what we're going to do. You're going to map it out, and then you're going to start doing it. You're going to have one view here, and one view there, right? Typically, this will be a side, and this will be a top. Incidentally, I don't care. In the book, it might flip these. I don't care if you call side what I call front and side. To me, front and side are the same. It just depends on which side you're standing on when you look at it, okay? But the important thing is the top one is the top view, because what you want your picture to do is you want the front view to be like you're looking here, and then if you lean it forward 90 degrees, that's your top view. Okay?
So you want to draw the outline of the big box, but not even break off the white.
Well, not exactly. We're gonna get, I mean, if you look in the top view,
Yeah, it's gonna
Look
have
at what
like a
you
small
see on
box
the top.
and then a bigger box.
you see the top of the small box,
And then the top
sitting
one.
on top
So
of.
if you don't just draw the dimensions.
No. We're going to actually draw. And on orthographic, we draw hidden lines as well. So that's the difference between orthographic and isometric. All right, but then this is the most important thing. There is a 45-degree angle, and it's very, very critical. The most points I take off on the drawings on the exams are for people not doing this properly. You're going to draw the side and the top. And of course they're going to line up, right, because they're going to share some edges. But then this is the critical thing. If you just draw the side like you drew the top and or the front like you did the top and the side, you're going to lose points. You have to do what I'm about to show you, right? We're going to draw a 45-degree angle line and draw it lightly because you're going to erase it. And it's easy to draw a 45-degree angle line because, you just go corner to corner through all those squares. What's going to happen is this. I'm going to take all of the horizontal edges from the top view, like this edge, and I'm going to bring it over here, and it's going to hit my 45-degree angle line. And this edge is going to come over here and hit my 45-degree angle line. And that 45-degree angle line is going to make that edge make a right angle turn and come down. So that these edges now become the sides of the front view. And then these horizontal lines on the side view are going to come over here, and they're going to become the horizontal lines of the front view. See what I did? I didn't just make my front view from scratch. It's got to, you have to bring them over from the top and side view. If I can't see that you did that, you did it wrongly. And the number one clue is I'll see drawings that look like this. Right? See how, well, it's coming. Actually, here. I'll see something like that. See how the blue lines don't match up? So I know right away you didn't do this correctly. Even though it might be to scale and it might represent the view, if it's not in the right place, it's wrong. Yes, sir.
So for the 45, do you just find, like, whenever you draw the top and the side, do you find like the midpoint in between those and then draw the 45 from there, or do you just draw the 45 just in there somewhere?
Good question. The 45, if I'm understanding it correctly, this 45-degree line doesn't have to be any one place in particular. What you want to be careful about with the 45 line is you want to make sure that you don't draw it to where, let's say this line up here, say I had the line here. With this 45-degree line, I'm not going to hit the 45-degree line before I run off the page. And so I would need the 45-degree line to be higher up so that I can hit it.
Okay.
But other than that, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't have to be exactly in the middle of the side view. It's good for it to be lined up with the side view, but it doesn't have to be.
It'd be better to draw the top and side than the angle.
Right, yeah. And you also want to minimize the space between the top and the side, because the higher up you move the top, the more chance you have of not being able to hit the 45-degree line. Right? And then there's one other major thing that's different about orthographic drawings, and that is we're going to label dimensions like this. Like this is 12 inches, and this is 8 inches or whatever. Okay? And if it's got a part that's cut out like this or whatever, then I need to label that. Every dimension has to be labeled. Now, once I label this, let's say I've got this one labeled as 15 inches. Once I label this as 7 inches, do I need to label this part right here? No, because I can see it's 15 minus 7. So I don't have to label everything, but everything has to be able to be determined from the labels. And then the last thing I need to do is I need to label my views. And so, like for example right here, I'm going to write top, side, front,
Can you write it on the inside
and
of the
then
box?
title block. No, it needs to be separate. I just started there to show you what we were doing, but no, it needs to be outside the box, not in the drawing itself. Exactly. The front or side, however you want to call it, is constructed from the other two views and that 45-degree line.
What about in this one when this front is like the two boxes don't line up?
They do. Yeah, they do.
Well, I mean, that's what you're going to draw as the front view, right? From the front view, you've got a big rectangle and then a small rectangle on top of it. Right? So that's what we're going to start with.
Oh, we don't start with the side one? I thought we got the...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the side. Here, what's going to happen is, well, let's do it and you'll see. Okay? The only other thing I want to mention is I said it before, but we're going to draw hidden lines. If there is an edge that is behind, let's say that, well, if it were this shape, right? See how this is kind of L-shaped? Then if I were looking from this side over here, it would look like a rectangle, right? But this edge right here is there, it's just hidden. And so I'm going to draw a dotted line to show that there's an edge on the other side that I'm just not seeing because it's hidden.
Okay.
Okay? Alright, so let's jump in and see what we can do. Alright, so we're going to start with the side view here.
Are we doing a 1 to 5 scale?
Ah, good question. Is 1 to 5 scale going to work here?
I don't think so. No.
Probably not. And let's think, which of our views is going to take up the most space? Yeah, either side or front, right? And they're going to be pretty close. So I'm going to kind of ballpark it. In this general area here, what scale can I fit the front view? Which the front view is what? It's 33 by 18 or
6, yeah.
15. It's 33 by 15, right? So what scale do I need to be able to
It's going to be about a 6.
comfortably fit it there? 6? All right, so let's go with 6. So
Are you starting at the very bottom?
I'm going to put the title block up here just to get it out of my way. I've got name. And this was 2 boxes B, right? This is our second arrangement of 2 boxes. So that can be our title. And it's a 1 to 6 scale. And today is 9, 13, 12. Right. So again, from the side view, I see 2 rectangles. You see a large rectangle. And let's see. It's 21 high. I gotta find one that works for mine, since my paper is not the same size as yours. And it's 21 by 15 it was? So this is my side view. And the bottom rectangle looks like that. And the top rectangle from this view is a rectangle that is aligned with the right edge, and its dimensions are, is that the 10 by 12?
What was the across one? What was the 15? Wait, how tall is the top one?
Something like that?
21 by 11.
Oh, yes. That's too big. Is everybody that big? That big?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't know if that's going to fit.
Let's do it.
You want to try it?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay. Just know that your top view is going to be sitting right on top of your side view.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. We're giving it a shot. Right.
Wait, how tall is that second box?
I mean, the good news is the top view is narrow, right? It's only 15 wide and 12 deep. Which one?
How tall is the top box? How tall is it?
It's 12 tall. Yeah.
And then how wide again was it?
10 wide
Yeah.
and 8 deep.
So for the side, we're just doing 10.
Right. The side looks like 2 rectangles, right? 21 by 15 on bottom and a 10 by 12 on top. Now again, be careful. Make sure your side and your top line up. For example, right? It's like I showed you a second ago. I'm going to take this view and rotate it 90 degrees towards me. what I'm going to see then is, again, two rectangles, and this time one's inside the other.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna, no, it's not gonna work. It won't.
It'll be close.
Yeah, no, it's not going.
And the big rectangle is 15 by 12. And notice, I see the 15 already, don't I? Because the 15 should line up with the 15 of the side view.
That's the 15?
Is the 15th up and down or side to
Side to side, yeah. And then from the top, the little rectangle is inside the top right-hand corner.
From the top, it's gonna be,
On top, like right there.
it's gonna be
And it's 8 by 10.
by 15.
This is 15, right?
See that? Notice, again, notice
No, this one's 15.
that,
Lines up with the
well,
side.
we do it with the highlighter so that the video can see. Notice that this edge right here lines up with that edge. That's the same box, right?
Yes.
And this edge lines up with that edge. It's the same box. And on the big box, this edge lines up because they belong to the same box, and these edges line up because they belong on the
He's
same
looking
box.
at it differently from us, though. You're copying him again.
That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Well,
I'm doing it from the way I
as long as you see how I got it out of that.
Yeah. Okay. Because you have 15 wide and 12 high on the top view, correct?
The top
Yeah.
view is 15 by 12, yes.
Yeah.
15 wide and 12 high.
I was told it. Okay, actually, it's not.
Yeah, mine's like right on top of it. It's kind of unnecessary.
Alright. Here comes that critical step. I'm going to draw my 45-degree line, and I'm going to do it real lightly because I'm going to erase it. Oh, shoot.
So it doesn't.
And basically everything I do in color you're going to do very lightly because you're going to erase it. It's just guides. But I'm going to show it so that you see what I'm doing in my head. Every horizontal line, every horizontal edge comes over and hits the line. See those? And then down here, every horizontal line, I'm going to lightly draw it in because it's going to give me a place to aim for.
How big is that part?
10 and 12.
Oh, like
I mean, 10 and 8. I mean. Yeah, I'll do
8.
So I'll do 8.
So is it 8 down?
No, well, for you, it's gonna be 10. For me, it's
Not 10 down.
So those are going to give me my target. So now there's one point that's going to intersect. There's another. So those 3 points are where those top view horizontal lines are going to make a right angle and come straight down. And then now I've got to start thinking, where do they come from? This edge that I just drew is the side edge of both blocks. So it's going to go all the way down, right? Change it to black since it's part of the real drawing. It's slipped on me. Then what about this edge? Do you see this edge here? What does it belong to? What does this edge belong to right here?
The top.
Just the top box, right?
Yep.
So when it comes down, is it going to go all the way to the bottom? No, it's going to stop and go right here.
How far?
And then this one is just the bottom box, right?
Okay.
Now I can connect the dots and go over those other horizontal lines that I know are now part of the front view. And then clean everything else up. And leave those lines for you to see for right now. Alright, so notice how the yellow lines all line up vertically, the green lines all line up horizontally, and then these blue lines come horizontal and then they hit the 45-degree angle to then become the vertical lines of the third view.